Hello everyone, it's that week when every 2 or 3 months we have a quick catch up with each of the projects, and so that over there is the Hall and Woodhouse Brewery, and no, we haven't sort of moved to a completely new service, but it's a good place to meet. We just met the guys from Mind here, from Dorset Mind, but we just had a catch up with Emma and Heidi in Nourish, and I just wanted to share two or three lovely things that they've done. They've taken on the real challenge of how do we go back to the original purpose of our community larder, which is that we are really going to help people to make a step forward in their lives. And hats off to Emma for having some really hard conversations with those who are sort of just using it as a bit of a, well, I didn't go to another shop, so I'll just see if I can pick up some extras here. And some really big conversations to focus in around about, I think it's 105 now, families who are getting the help and having an ongoing amount of help from them. But it's meant that she's had some lovely conversations with people, including one family, a lady who was sending money back to a country in Africa where her son was going through education, and the son has now graduated, and so she's come in and said, I don't need the larder anymore. So the benefit, it wasn't just for that family here, but has enabled somebody to make a real step forward in their lives in another country. They've also noticed that they started having a little clicker on the door to count the number of people who come in on a Tuesday and Thursday. Because those of you who've been to Blandford, and if you haven't, maybe go on a discovery visit, they have this space in the United Reformed Church where people just come in because they're feeling a bit lonely. It's a social isolation element to it. And Heidi's been just keeping a track of how many people are having teas and coffees, how many people are coming in. It's roughly about 80 per session, so are coming through the doors on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that only a proportion of those are literally to use the food bank or to use the larder. So it's taking on a new lease of life. So we're talking about, do we need to train our volunteers in, dementia friendly ideas, how to get alongside those with dementia, how to get alongside those who need a different sort of help. And actually that's making us think, as we talk to the churches, as we do that intentional mission partnership with churches, will some of those churches come along and be buddies in the room to talk to people? So in some places, like in Christchurch, we have an amazing community meal. We're actually thinking in Blandford, we've already got the people coming in the door twice a week. How can we best work with them as well? So lots of interesting conversations, and one really nice idea that Heidi just told us at the end was they now have a little thank you postcard, seasonal. They've got the spring ones at the moment, so if an organisation or a person comes in with a donation of food, they can immediately give them a postcard and go, thank you so much. And she said one of the churches absolutely loved it. They stuck it on their notice board to say a big thank you from Nourish. So creative. I love the fact all the different projects are so creative, and that's what these quarterly reviews are helping to unpack. So bravo to you guys here in Blandford. Go off to the next one. These regular catch-ups we do with all the different projects are really great. It's been Paul's turn now. We've just had a long chat with Alana, and she's doing an amazing job with the team there. And the mighty Linda, our volunteer, has finished her 6th year with FaithWorks. It's such a fantastic support. What was interesting, we've talked about satellites. So as you know, Paul has, as you may know, Paul has a variety of places who are what we call food bank satellites, and we're starting to dig in and work out how we can work best with those. So up the road here is Waste Not Want Not, which is a social supermarket. So slightly different from Blandford, and you've got a partner providing that next step on for a food bank. And what is great is Alana is fantastic at building a pathway from that, as she describes it, the reliance to resilience pathway, working really closely with Waste Not Want Not just up the road. We've talked about the challenges of the number of people who are coming in through the door who have drug issues, and they may be referrals from organisations working with those in addiction, or it may simply be that people are on that difficult journey. And we've also talked about the number of single parents that we see, obviously good, strong links with Smile here, but what was lovely was to hear of one mum who came in, 2 kids, really tough world, 2 kids have lots of health problems, and the mum was just able to sit. And Alana was saying, well, really sorry, some of the partners aren't here today who would normally be here to help. She said, don't worry, it's the first time my brain has rested for a long time. That's a lovely phrase, isn't it? So thank you for all of where you are doing that sort of stuff to help people just have a moment where they can stop and the worries of the world can come off their shoulders. It is so fantastic. Roll on to the next one. And that next one is Wimborne. I love the way across all the different projects you have these volunteer thank yous. And in Wimborne, that means Crazy Golf. Well, the last few years it has been. And Trevor, our storeman in Wimborne, is an absolute whiz. And some of the tactics are a little bit dodgy. And I know Dale's got a few sort of complaints about possible yellow card offences. But it's a great occasion. It boosts everybody up. And thank you for doing those. There's lots of other things going on in Wimborne. I love the fact that there's quite a few people who've come up from Weymouth to be housed in some of the new properties in Wimborne, and we've been able to provide starter packs and kitchen packs that Sharon and Michelle have got together with the team to get these people into accommodation, which is another really, unsung part of what we do. I love the fact that we've got some really creative things that we're doing. So we're working with Pool Food Bank in terms of sharing some of the stock, and when that works out well. They're inviting Sharon and Michelle are inviting 2 churches a month to come down and see the operation to build those mission partnerships, and that's one of the things that Dale is working with all the teams to try and do over these next few months, is to build just a few really key partnerships that are based on what they want to do with us, maybe that be food or giving finance or praying or whatever it is, and what we're going to do for them in terms of giving them information. And finally, in Wimborne, 2nd of June, mark it in your cards, they managed to get a slot to have a coffee morning. Sounds very sort of low-key, but it's at Rick Stein's in Sandbanks to raise a bit of cash, and they've already got 43 people signed up for that, so that's a really good effort. Thank you again. Thank you for all these projects. It's really good. Keep going, folks. Another week to come.